Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So people, I'm talking about 15 tips to help you get back on the wagon when you've fallen off the dietary wagon. And this is by, don't tell me, Laura Dawn. Thank you very much. Of Raw and Happy. And I don't know what Laura Dawn's situation is right now. Some of the stuff on her page is from like 2018, but she's in Hawaii. I have a feeling she's still rocking it, literally, R-A-W-K, rocking it. I'll have to do the research, but for right now, I'm enjoying using her 15 tips. So we are on day 4. Don't worry if you're just joining us. You can look at the last couple of days where I'm just doing 3 tips at a time because they're so fabulous and worth processing. And we are on number 10, 11, and 12. 10, 11, and 12. So a little bit about my day. It was Friday, Friday for many. And of course, Teacher Appreciation Week, full of treats. But as I had said, I asked my principal to honor me with fruit. And what was really funny was she wrote a note saying, "Hey, Jules, your fruit will be in there." I got to the teacher's lounge and the fruit was seemingly gone. And I was like, wait a second. I had no idea so many teachers were going to be loving that fruit. Good for them. Well, then she wrote and said, "I'm so sorry. I'm off today. I'll have your fruit on Monday." But of course, God being God, you will not even believe the cafeteria had bags of fruit, like literally 4 gigantic apples, 3 oranges, something else. I can't even remember. But literally these bags of fruit. And they donated them all to the kids, but it's the weekend and there was some left. So they put these big bags of fruit. You know what? I'm going to pause and show you. No, I'm not. Never mind. I was going to say I was going to pause and show you what I'm talking about. But I forgot. I don't have access to them right now, per se. And no, I'm not going to explain why. But anyway, beautiful bags of fruit. So all of a sudden, people are writing to me saying, "Juliana, I know the principal's not here, but there's fruit for you. Go get it while it lasts." I had no idea there were these like 10-piece bags of fruit. And it was really funny that everybody was fruiting about my situation. And I'm like, what the fruit? I'm the talk of the day, the vegan on the, staff, which was brilliant. So anyway, I got plenty of fruit. So cool. And I wrote my principal and said, "Hey, I'm handled. If she brings fruit, it'll be amazing. But my gosh, I got more fruit than I could have ever imagined." And that's just God. I was reading recently where it said, don't ask God for enough. Ask him for more so that you can possibly give to others. And I'm all in for that. So now I used to say, "Father, please just give us enough, please, to cover whatever." Now I'm saying, "Yo, Father, overflow your bounty. I'm all in and I promise I'll share," which is brilliant. All right. So I had a successful Friday. What I've come to know is that at some point every day, my mind will start to wander and obsess about food that doesn't serve my body. And that certainly happened today. Again, being really careful to not have cash on hand, because that used to be a problem for me. It used to be to where even if I had a dime or a penny, I would misspend it on one of those little gum machines, like seriously. So I promised myself instead, and I better follow through, telling my little monkey mind that I would give coconuts some time. You can see the family resemblance, right? The innocent eyes, I know. But anyway, look at this urge jar filling up. And why not? Why not? I mean, yeah, I got fruit, but don't be thinking that teacher's lounge wasn't full of treats and that people were putting, dare I say, candy in our mailboxes, and I was passing stuff off as quickly as I was receiving it. But one of my students brought me an apple, a real apple, and he's like, "Yeah, my mom bought a bunch of apples," and I said, "Hey, can I give one to my teacher?" Because she likes apples and she's vegan, and my mom said, "Okay." I'm in love. Are you kidding me? And it's really funny. It's always the more difficult, rebellious boys who turn out to be just so sweet and inevitably come back year after year to tell me how they're doing. And I just absolutely love that. I can't even tell you, kids with no skills coming back in 7th grade, 9th grade, 12th grade, saying that they finally made it and they wanted me to know. Because I often tell my students, that it's not, they may not academically grow in the year that they have me. They may not reach that peak that they're hoping for, but they'll get there when it's right. And they always say, Miss McCants used to always say that I'd get there, and I want you to know I did. And and I've even had boys come back saying, I'm going to be a teacher now because of you. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? How brilliant is that? God is so good. You are so good, Father. All right. So I have mentioned Sister Judith a few times, and the other day it was her belly button birthday, but today's the day she left to heaven 5 years ago, and I have no doubt she went to heaven, I assure you. So shout out to Sister Judith, such a blessing in my life, and rocking it in heaven. So as I'm talking to you, I'm actually filling out some stuff. I'm going to pause you a moment, which I pray will be without consequence, because I need to check. Oh, good, you're still here. So I was just checking because I thought so. So I hit over 12,000 steps, which I'm thrilled to have done. And that includes rebounding. I'm making sure that I'm moving my lymphatic system. And over 2 hours and 30 minutes of active movement. So needless to say, I've been going since 6 o'clock this morning. And luckily, it is only 9:20 at night. I may even be in bed by 10 o'clock. Miracles just happen in my life, people. That's my goal. But anyway, I'm happy to record that because, again, I use every gimmick to keep my little kid at bay, to keep my primal brain that says I want it now and give me at bay, to keep my monkey mind and the entire tribe at bay. As long as I'm using my tools, I am good to go. Tools for Jules, right? Absolutely. Okay, let's get to that article. This is day 4. Let's go. Number 10. Go for a walk or a bike ride and get some fresh air. For me, it's walking that track at lunch. You don't actually have to walk or ride a bike, but engage in whatever movement feels amazing for you. Maybe you like to rollerblade or go hiking, or simply dance in your kitchen to Alexa, which I was doing. When I used to struggle with depression in my teens, okay, this is why I'm in love with this girl. Like, seriously, she so gets it. Depression in her teens, so yes. Walking literally saved my life. I was reflecting on how many times I lost and gained weight, right? Like significant 100 pounds, right? More than 6 times in my adult life. And what would it have been like had I just kept it off at that first time, or the second, or the 6th? And certainly the 7th time, right? What would it have been different? I wouldn't have all this skin, that isn't quite tightening yet. God has a plan. Like, there's a few things, and yet I know it's exactly right that it is now. But still, I still get that. What if I wasn't self-medicating as a teen for my depression, but actually got help? I think people who have 2.5 children instead of 11 probably do that more often, right? Okay, I have no regrets. I was just reflecting on that earlier today, though. So it says it may sound simple to just go for a walk, and that's one of the incredible about it. Who did not proofread this article? Didn't I talk about typos yesterday? Aren't I talking about typos today? Girl, I would have proofread it for you. I'm an English major. Anyway, that's one of the incredible things about it. All you have to do is put on your runners and pick a direction. I just like the monotony of that field. I don't have to think, clock it in for each lap, go gadget, and I'm done. Sadly, yesterday they cut the lawn, and I'm allergic to grass and cut grass and wet grass. So that was a bit of a challenge. But today I just kept on my mask and I was okay. Walking is now being shown to be just as effective as antidepressants, way 1 trillion more times more effective. Hello, sponsored by God. Don't put meds in your body that you don't need. Every once in a while when I'm really hurting, I want to take like a Tylenol or something, but those have to run through your whole bloodstream before they affect the one area that you really want it to. So of course an ice pack or a heating pad are far more effective, which I'm really good about. And that's exactly how I feel when I'm walking, uplifted, joyful, and naturally high. If I was listening to some great music while I was kicking it, that would probably be true. It's usually the Mass or the Rosary, and those, of course, are They Call Me Mellow Yellow. But I keep the pace the entire time anyway, and of course, I am so happy to be praying every moment, but I do get the fun of music too. So it says, please use your own best judgment and consult your doctor before going off antidepressants. Word. Super important. You know, I got off all medications, including lithium, because it was killing my kidneys, and all the secondary medications they gave me, like mood stabilizers and Wellbutrin and all that fun, but I had to be responsible. And even though in the end it was still against my doctor's will, I did work with doctors the entire time to get off. So I am all game for that. Okay, tip number 11, keep a food journal for 1 week. Like if you really want to know what your triggers are, just start with 1 week. You might find out that it's so helpful that you'll go for a second, third, and for the rest of your life. I don't know, but keep a food journal for 1 week. Keeping a food journal isn't just about writing down what you eat. I use a food journal template to help chronic overeaters. Still a great term, I love that. Dieters and food addicts change their eating habits. It includes writing down more information around eating habits, like paying attention to any food triggers, time of day, where you're eating, and what you're feeling before you eat, and even who you're eating with, to help cultivate awareness. No doubt. I had a binge buddy. When I was 18, the devil walked into my life, described as an individual that I won't mention, and oh my Lord, let the games begin. It was such a flippin' nightmare and so hard to get off that roller coaster of addiction. With this professional, I thought I was good. Whew, she shamed me to no end. So I totally get that. But also, where you're eating or what time it is that you're triggered. Why is it at those certain times during the day? I usually find it's because I'm not as organized as I hoped. It's because I'm panicking about something I heard earlier and suddenly it's starting to bother me. It's certainly when I'm driving home on the dark mile, those 10 miles from the 395 to I Street. Can I go a different way? Sort of. But the different way is no better. It's really about discipline. So I so get that. Okay, this is so important because awareness is the first key to implementing change, since you can't change what you're not aware of. And are we really not aware? Are we just choosing not to partake or not notice or not admit or not deal with? Like, come on. Almost all my life, I thought, if I say I forgot, I'm lying, because I've had a phenomenal memory my entire life. And most of the times that I said, oh, I forgot, I was lying. I don't even have the ability to forget, mostly. And then, of course, God protected me by allowing me to forget certain things, and I thank him to no end for that. Okay, number 12. Remember that it's not worth it. Remember that it's not worth it. Remember that it's not worth it, right? Okay, dare I mention T-Raw, that's short for Tanny Raw, social media phenom on every platform, look her up, who always says, how will you feel after this meal? How will you feel after this meal? I can't think of one time that I thought, ooh, I'm going to feel amazing. I mean, 10,000 calories of nonsense with zero fiber and a sugar content of 1,012 will feel amazing. Not. I can't really think of a time. So remember that it's not worth it. After I eat something that I know is not in my highest interest. So again, it's not bad or good. It just doesn't serve your body. It's not in your highest interest. And these foods are different for everyone. Again, love that about Overeaters Anonymous. You pick your own food plan. Everyone's trigger is different. I always have the insight that it's just not worth it. I actually had that revelation today. When I was dreaming about the, long mile, when I was going through the nonsense as I was teaching and my head was going through the real, I was like, no, it's just not going to be worth it. And my husband was like, hey, do you want to go to dinner or stop and get me something on your way home? God's grace. He suddenly couldn't decide what it was he wanted. And that ended up with, well, if you can't decide, maybe you don't want anything. And I got to go home and make my meal and his meal. Awesome. Okay, so the moment of feeling pleasure makes me unhappy in the long run. I know what it's like to be overweight. So yes, and even more than now, and unhappy, and what it's taken for me to get to where I am now. And there's no food that I could eat that would make it worth it for me to go back to that place. Yeah. Like, I'm really excited because, first of all, TMI, my underwear got too big again. So a couple resets ago, I announced to the group that my underwear were too big and that I had to get smaller underwear. And that was really great. And they were like, that's a real thing. And I skipped the last reset, and sadly I'm skipping this one as well. And it's really because I just can't give my all. And I'm like so phenomenal that people need me to give my all. So if you just can't be the superhero that you plan on being in a group, don't be in the group is the message. So I'm not going to be in the group. I hope to be in it in July. And please don't even think for a moment that that is not saying how incredibly worth the Tanny Raw Reset is. It's amazingly worth it. But hopefully in July, my life will allow me to participate 100%. But anyway, they're starting this Sunday. If you signed up, I'd love to know. But I would be telling that group that my underwear got too big again. Because that's just fun. And I actually already purchased new underwear, and they're organic and really cute, and they're from Costco and comfortable, no lines. I mean, come on. I mean, I know people do Victoria's Secret and stuff, but believe me, these are darling, and they're vegan, and they're cotton, and they're organic, and they're reasonable, and I'm happy to have them. So anyway, yay that. Okay, so it says, I know what it's like to be overweight and unhappy, and what it's taken for me to get to where I am now. And there's no food that I could eat that would make it worth it for me to go back to that place. I love feeling fit, healthy, and strong. And sure, it's one thing to have the occasional indulgence, but when that indulgence starts to become a problem, then you know you have to readjust your eating habits or suffer the consequences of poor food choices. Amen. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like Tanner always says, once is a slip, twice is starting a new habit. And, you know, obviously my body is still padded. And come on, I still weigh a lot. But I'm way better than I was, and I'm going to be even better. And I'm trusting that as long as I do the footwork, my body will pull itself together in a very lovely way. And I just can't stand that feeling, you know, of being uncomfortable in my body. So it was kind of fun because I got new underwear, which was great. My pants were kind of bulging a little, the size that I'm in, which where the little like pocket liner would just show, or the zipper flap would be open just a little. And that none of that's true. Like today, I was just like, wait a minute, these pants are fitting and they look really cute. And you're not worrying about your zipper coming down or your little pant, you know, your pocket liner. Wait, this is really good. Let's keep going. And that gave me the courage to get to those 12,000 steps, you know, which I'm thrilled to do. So I'm staying the course. I just have to know that at some point every day, my monkey mind might start chattering. But if I could push through that, know that I'm going to reward myself later, know that I have food waiting for me. Tomorrow I'm going to be going down the hill to see my mother a day early for Mother's Day because she has so many children. She has a lot of events to go to. And it could be tricky, but I'm not going to let it be tricky. Excuse me, I have great plans on all of the fluids that I'm going to bring. Just like a real school day, I'm going to make myself a couple of my smoothies. I'm going to make sure I have a healthy snack. And I'm just going to decline on the nonsense, you know. I'm going to have a really successful day. I am letting you know, JBV community, help me out. I am going to have a fantastic day tomorrow. Saturday, the 8th, is going to be a blessing for me. And I'm going to come back to you guys tomorrow night and say, yo, what's up, y'all? I had a great day. I am projecting that. I am affirming that. And I'm thrilled to say that that will be my truth. Okay? I love it. Okay, let's go back really quickly. I'm going to read these clean for you guys. Tip number 9, oops, my bad. Tip number 10, go for a walk or a bike ride and get some fresh air. You don't actually have to walk or ride a bike, but engage in whatever movement feels amazing for you. Maybe you like to rollerblade or go hiking. When I used to struggle with depression in my teens, walking literally saved my life. It may sound simple to just go for a walk, and that's one of the incredible things about it. All you have to do is put on your runners and pick a direction. Walking is now being shown to be just as effective as antidepressants, and that's exactly how I feel when I'm walking. Uplifted, joyful, and naturally high. Tip number 11, keep a food journal for 1 week. Keeping a food journal isn't just about writing down what you eat. I use a food journal template to help chronic overeaters, dieters, and food addicts change their eating habits. It includes writing down more information around eating habits, like paying attention to any food triggers, time of day, where you're eating, and what you're feeling before you eat, and even who you're eating with to help cultivate awareness. This is so important because awareness is the first key to implementing change, since you can't change what you're not aware of. Tip number 12, remember that it's not worth it. After I eat something that I know is not in my highest interest, and these foods are different for everyone, I always have the insight that it's just not worth it. That moment of feeling pleasure makes me unhappy in the long run. I know what it's like to be overweight and unhappy and what it's taken for me to get to where I am now, and there's no food that I could eat that would make it worth it for me to go back to that place. I love feeling fit, healthy, and strong. Well, I kind of lost my place, but mostly I'm seeing another typo. But it's okay. Calm down. And sure, it's one thing to have an occasional indulgence, but when the indulgence starts to become a problem, then you know you have to readjust your eating habits or suffer the consequence of poor food choices. Amen, girlfriend. Just in conclusion, I'm going to say it's interesting to me that she doesn't clarify, but she discerns, I should say, the difference between, let me go back to that food journal, the difference between chronic overeaters, dieters, and food addicts. I'm wondering what the difference between a food addict and a chronic overeater is. Dun, 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 dun. Chronic overeater. Chronic means continuous and nonstop. Okay, a food addict is a person who cannot stop engaging in food. How is that different than a chronic overeater? One moment, please. Hey, Laura, it's JulesBlessedVegan. How's it going? Oh, you've heard of me? Really? Yeah, because I'm famous on, wait a minute, infamous? That's rude. Click. Okay, anyway, love you. Thanks for stopping by, JVV. I hope this helped you out. I'd love to hear what you think. I will be back tomorrow. All right, like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. And until we talk again, best of all, know that you are blessed.